really true that what I am passionate about is about women and about really supporting women as they play with beauty and are confident in their lives. So I have an 11-year-old daughter, and I'm really stunned by the research that still says that women's confidence peaks at age 10 and then goes down from there. And I feel like we as a beauty community have a huge part to play in being supportive of women and giving them confidence and freedom instead of being part of the problem. So I think we're seeing amazing things that are happening in this category, and I applaud all of you, all of us who are working on that. But that's at the core of what we're about at Julep, as well as engaging with customers and really listening to them, and really through doing all of that saying, hey, you are worthy. So I want to talk a little bit about our brand so that it helps you understand that the theme of this talk is about co-creation and what we do. But I think it does start off with sort of what the company is about and what their goals are. So at Julep, it's really about a brand first and foremost. It's not a subscription, it's not that we're on QVC, those are channels. But I view us as a brand that is trying to reach women in wherever they happen to be. And what we're trying to spread is a message of brave pretty, that there's no judgment in beauty, and it should be really about fun and confidence and fearless experimentation that can perhaps inspire you to go outside your comfort zone in other areas. My favorite thing is when somebody tries a polish where they would have never have before, and they get a compliment, and maybe somewhere else in their lives they're inspired to take a risk, because that anvil is not going to fall on your head if you just try something new once in a while. As a company, we view ourselves as Beauty 3.0, that we're really starting in an era post-social media, and I think that's why we have this courage to co-create and try different things and be out there really trying and failing and trying again with our community. And the way that we evolved, it's not that we integrated social media afterwards, it's that we grew up in an era that was Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Pinterest, and so these were things from the very beginning that were part of our oxygen and the way that we operate and communicate with our customers. So we do launch 300 new SKUs a year, at least 12 specifically new products, and I want to recognize our incredible VP of Product Development, Michelle Mazur. You just at least wave, right? I say at Julep, we call ourselves a full staff beauty company, by which I mean we have engineers, software engineers on one side who say, hey Jane, you don't know what it's like to develop software and write code. And then we have product development experts on the other hand who are like, hey, you know, that product is in Italy and there's time that it takes to get here, and it's not like writing code in software. You can't write a product from Italy to Seattle, apparently. So it takes a lot of positive intent to be able to work collaboratively together like that and to launch all of these products. So the way that we do things, we do it every month. If you're a subscriber in our Maven program, you get first access, and you also help us develop those programs, those products. And those SKUs are one and done. We don't plan to remanufacture unless we hear that customers are excited and enthusiastic. Now, some things we really want them to be enthusiastic, and this is a partnership where before we launch the product, obviously we're going to connect with customers and make sure we're maximizing the chance for success. But it's a very different view of the world because we're launching to our unlimited online shelf space, and there are no marketing dollars attached to it. It's just our community. And after it survives this co-creation environment is when we will take it to our partners at QVC and at Nordstrom and others. So the core question I'm often asked is, how do we invite our customers to become our co-creators with us? What is this like? And I think the most important thing is that it really does start with the brand, that it has to be, for us, I think it's all in our DNA, that we absolutely want to collaborate. It is my dream to really crash down the walls between the customer and the company and have us be working together as one. If all of our customers could feel like they were partial employees and owners of Julep, that would be what would be the, our dream and the goal that we're so passionate about. And this is our mantra, Brave Pretty. I don't have that much time, so I won't read it all now. It is up on our website. But the line that I want to emphasize is the last, which is that there are no mistakes, no judgments, because pretty shouldn't be something we define for you. It's whatever you choose to show us. Brave Pretty. The idea of being brave is about being reciprocal, it's about being vulnerable, and that's really key to what it takes to actually co-create in a real way with your customers. And we are really passionate about two-way engagement. It goes through everything that we do, and as we connect with our customers, we never tell them what to say to us. We let them, in our campaigns actually contribute to the things that they define as brave, pretty. And it's this part of really, really listening, really seeing. I think the core need that we all have in the world is to be seen, to be heard, and to be valued for who we are. And so whatever part that we can do in this as a beauty brand is what we're passionate about, and why co-creation is one element of how we express this as a brand. So I want to give you an example of something that we did recently, because it wasn't meant to be this big. Some things we really work on hard, and you guys know this, right? You work really hard to make something big, and sometimes it's not as big as you want. And this one, we convinced Michelle to get us 500 samples of this new lip product that we're launching. It's amazing. We're both wearing it tonight. It's our new lip mousse. And we're going to send it out to about 500 people. So we didn't spend any money on it. We just put it out on social media. We said, hey guys, who wants to help us design our next lip product? Well, we were inundated, flooded. 85,000 people responded. And it's incredible. Like we've had people who come to join us. It's interesting. I've seen some startups here. I know Dollar Shave Club is here. That when you start outside the category like we do, there's some huge strengths that come from that, because I don't know the beauty category or didn't grow up in it. So I'm not limited in some ways. It's just like, why can't we do that? Michelle loves that when I ask that. And but then at some point when you grow up, you do have to understand what the category is, and that's why I'm so excited to be here and to learn from all of you that we're operating in a community. And so we have hired now experts from this category, and they're like, wow, you never get this kind of engagement. It's a gift, and we are totally grateful for that. But it was incredible that all of these people wanted to participate, and then we were like, uh-oh, we only have 500 samples. So we had to figure out something else to do. But this is actually interesting, right? Like, it wasn't super planned. When you are co-creating, when you're open and vulnerable and out there and inviting your customers to connect, it's hard to predict what the response will be. Sometimes you plan for bigness and there's crickets, and sometimes you think, oh, this is a little thing, and it blows up. And so the whole thing is to be open in your whole DNA and how you're willing to engage and try to have the connection and the conversation as often as possible, as much as possible. I actually always tell the story to my team about Harry Met Sally. Who here has seen this movie? Yay, that's a lot more than a Julep. when I talked about Harry Met Sally, they were like, hey Jane, is that like in black and white, like Casablanca? So, for those of you who have seen the movie, right, I love the scene where, Harry says that he won't drive Sally to the airport because someday he's going to be busy and he won't be able to drive her to the airport, and then you're going to be sad and disappointed. So in lieu of disappointing you in the future, I'm going to start now and never drive you to the airport, right? Crazy Harry at the beginning of the movie. I always say at Julep that we should drive her to the airport as long as we can. Maybe we can't write handwritten notes forever. Maybe we can't send samples to everyone forever, but we should try to drive her to the airport. And if we only get a few of her there, if we only get part of her there, we're doing the best we can. And I think that's the spirit with which we engaged in this campaign. So then ultimately we did have 500. We did pack them out by hand, as we are still small and sort of scrappy in everything that we do. And we had 2 applicators that we wanted our customers to decide between, so we sent them both, and we sent them the formula, and we wanted responses and feedback on all of that. So it has to be real, right? You can't ask a customer for feedback and not use the input. It's like being on a bad date where the guy asks you a question and then doesn't ask, you a different question in another way that doesn't respect the fact that you answered and listened. So if you ask customers for something, I think then it is your duty to use it in a way that reflects that you heard it. Otherwise, don't ask the question. Don't waste my time. So here we did actually use the input that they gave us. And often when I talk to bigger companies about this, they're like, hey Jane, aren't you scared that you just let down a whole bunch of people who voted for the other thing, right? When you co-create, you cannot, co-creation is not consensus. It is not unanimous getting everybody together. It is not saying that you're giving up control and you're listening to everything that everybody else says. You actually have to have a lot of confidence to co-create because you have to be willing to hear all the good, bad, and the ugly, but you have to be willing to make a decision and be willing to take positions that not all of your customers are going to be excited about. So in this case, lots of people voted for something that we decided not to go with, and it was a risk that we took. But it was a way that we could be transparent and engage with our customers. And really, if we were picking between these two things and thinking about the formula, which we really were, and we had input and we were asking each other these questions, whenever we ask each other the questions now, I think, what is a way that we can ask the customer instead of just each other? And then you get advocates along the way, right? So this woman said, I've tried a lot of lipsticks in search of one that will stay on for hours, not bleed, cake, or flake, and good color. You may have hit a home run. So even before you launch, that was an unexpected benefit. Now we have 500 crazy brand advocates who are super excited and are watching every week for the launch of this product. To do something else with the other 79,500 people who did not get the sample. We asked for color inspirations on Instagram. Again, these were real pieces of input that we really used to develop the color. And they voted, and they know what I think I hear over and over again as I travel the country and meet with mavens and have these meetups, which by the way, we have them vote on that as well on social media. But one of the things that I hear is that, you know, you guys really reflect the decisions that we help you make. You're not just asking when we say something, we can see it come to life. And that's super exciting to feel like you can help direct the product and the development of a beauty company that you're passionate about is a feeling of power that we love to share with our customers. So other examples, one of my very favorites is that we worked with the team at IDEO to develop our patent pen, actually we got the patent for it, our patented plie wand. It's a better way to polish your nails that's ergonomic. And when we were at IDEO, which might have been one of my favorite days of work ever, we were actually putting together different concepts. There's lots of different ways to think about how to get ergonomic control for polishing your nails better. If you think about the fact that we're working with a small 1-inch tall pencil, can you write with that? If you're using a golf pencil, you can't do it, right? Would you want your surgeon to operate with you, on you, with a tool that big? No way. Everything that has ergonomic control involved is longer, a painter's brush, a surgeon's scalpel. So we really were trying to solve this problem. And on day 2, we just said, hey, instead of us just sitting there talking to each other, why don't we go on Facebook and see if we have any customers in the Palo Alto area who want to come in and join us. So IDEO were great. They were amazing partners. Somebody quickly whipped out some kind of, confidentiality agreement that we had people sign, and we just had people come and be with us on literally day 2 of product development when the teams had just met, because we wanted to all along the way incorporate real feedback and make sure that we weren't just fooling ourselves. We also developed our bare-face cleansing oil. I think that's in a gift bag that you guys will all go home with. Yay! This is one where, it is a Korean beauty secret, as you guys know, the oils that have come over from Asia. I've used this my whole life. We used it in our parlors in Seattle. I always tell people that I've been Korean my whole life, and this is the first year it's been cool. But we did have this amazing product, the parlors, we did it in facials, they loved it, people were taking it home in Tupperware containers, and so that's how we knew that we had a hit. And then as we were selecting new colors, product extensions, we always go out and ask people to vote for that, right? Like, why keep the power? Why make the decisions yourself? If there's any way to involve our customers, we always do it. Sometimes it's on Facebook, just a voting app. You don't need a fancy development team to do this kind of thing. You just need to have the willingness and the openness to engage people in the conversation. And then there's lots of easy tools out there that you can use to make this happen. The other ways that we give our mavens a voice is that we name our products after some of our favorite mavens, and we have our mavens vote on that. We host meetups, and we have people vote on where we're going to have the meetups. Okay, I think I'm way over time, so I'm going to go real quick through my overall 3 rules of co-creation. So rule number 1 is you have to embrace vulnerability. I think it's something that I admire in leaders, it's something that I admire in my team, and you have to be willing to fail and to be open about it. And I think this is a new generation of leadership where we're talking about things in a much more authentic way, where we are being open, and being open means being together and sharing not only your good stuff. If any of you guys are in relationships or in families or in marriages, you can't just share the good stuff. Sharing is sharing, it is complete. And so when you share, you have to share the good and the bad. Rule number 2 is that you do have to prioritize connection over all else, and connection over perfection, which I think is a huge goal of mine in my personal life, but as well in our company. So I love this definition of connection that Brené Brown has, which is that connection is the energy that exists between people where they feel seen, heard, and valued, when they can give and receive without judgment, and when they derive sustenance and strength from that relationship. I've never met her, but I'd like to think if Brené Brown started a beauty company, it would be Julep. And then together is more important than perfect. That when you are together and you're doing things together, there's no way that you can even put up the facade of perfect. So I think this is a goal that I would love to engage in conversations within the beauty category, where there is so much about perfection, that being together in it, beauty is amazing because it's fun, it is social, it's what I love sharing and bossing around my younger sisters and forcing people to try new things. So valuing that collective energy over perfection is a key part of what enables us to co-create. So that's it. I ended with our slide of core values because I think that's how I like to end all of our conversations at Julep. One of the most important things to me is assuming positive intent. That when you are in front of somebody who's telling you something that you don't understand, how can you attribute the very best reason in them for giving you this answer that you might not like. It's a creative exercise. It is, I think, the highest form of empathy, and it's something that I am super proud that we strive for, I believe, every day on our team at Julep and with our customers. So thank you so much for allowing me to be here and to bend your ears for a little bit, and I'm excited to get to know all of you more. Francis asked me to let you guys know that I think we're just going to dive straight into the conversations now. So thanks again.